Hi, this is Josh Henrich here, filling in for Dobbs Davis at the Chicago Windy City Match Race 2008. We have in the finals here, Heartbreaker versus Convexity. And in our pennant round, we have Gravitas and Flash Gordon. We have a dying breeze out of the northeast, and we hope to get some racing in today, so let's check it out. With 2 minutes, 30 seconds, roughly to the start, Gravitas is obviously in a leading position, forcing Flash to tack off as they escape onto port. Gravitas follows. Gravitas has a commanding start over Flash. Flash is already in dirty air. They'll have to tack out immediately after the start to get some clear air. And in our second start today, we have Heartbreaker and Convexity entering. Heartbreaker's got Convexity in a great location, able to throw it up, essentially stop Convexity for some head to wind right at the boat, leaving Convexity very little room to wiggle with. Convexity keeps trying to press it down, trying to get the bow underneath Heartbreaker, hoping to get a hook before the start. Flash is driving over and Gravitas is following suit. Essentially staying in between Flash and the next mark. Heartbreaker and Convexity. Heartbreaker and Convexity both split at the start. Convexity starting at the boat, going to the right side of the course. Heartbreaker going left. Heartbreaker just barely crosses after splitting the entire leg. Heartbreaker has approximately a 1.5 boat length lead. From the start, Convexity follows suit. Flash and Gravitas sailing upwind. Gravitas is ahead of Flash at the moment, as we have the two match racing courses interengaging, essentially a few boat lengths apart. Convexity jibed over. Heartbreaker jibed over to lead, staying in between Convexity and the next mark. Clearly ahead. Convexity is showing signs of a little more breeze. As we're approaching the first leeward mark, we have Heartbreaker ahead of Convexity, approximately by slightly less than a boat length and a half. Convexity is obviously gained on this downwind leg. Second downwind leg, we have Gravitas and Flash. Flash is ahead and above Gravitas. Gravitas is holding tightly on the inside. Convexity seems to gain a little bit, working on the right side of the course, coming in with a starboard advantage as they approach. Heartbreaker ducks down below, obviously sailing below the weather mark. Convexity is able to tack on top of Heartbreaker. With our conclusion of the first race, we have Gravitas beating Flash, and in the finals we have Convexity beating Heartbreaker. And at this moment we have a game of patience. Flash is trying to back down, make a turn to the right, get onto port, get underneath Gravitas. Flash is engaging Gravitas over on the starboard lay line to the starting line. Gravitas is following suit, chasing Flash. Flash is tacking over onto starboard. "15 seconds before the start. Clean start. Roughly 1 minute to the start, we have Convexity leading out towards the pin. Turning up hard, Heartbreaker follows suit, it's turning up inside. Convexity clear ahead of Heartbreaker in a controlling situation. Heartbreaker following. Heartbreaker's trying to establish an overlap. Convexity hangs on to their position as clear ahead. Heartbreaker forces Convexity to tack off at the start. We have a penalty on Convexity. "15 seconds to the start. Convexity assesses the penalty. Heartbreaker still chasing him down. After the first start, Convexity escaping off to the right, Heartbreaker off to the left. Convexity was able to gain a slight lead and able to tack and face Heartbreaker, forcing Heartbreaker to tack off. As we see here again, Convexity able to tack on Heartbreaker, controlling their win. Weather mark rounding, we have Convexity approximately a boat length ahead of Heartbreaker. Heartbreaker taking an initial jibe off. Convexity will have to follow suit as they're driving deep with the kite. And then we have Convexity following Heartbreaker back into the center as they aim to cover. The clear air, Convexity has to head up and intergauge. Heartbreaker has to follow suit, being the weather boat. Convexity tacks the cover. Question is, when will Convexity do the penalty turn? Race 2, we have Flash sailing on the second downwind leg, approximately 5 boat lengths ahead of Gravitas, clearly ahead in this race, controlling. Gravitas trying to build speed and get ahead of Flash. As we approach the finish for the second race, Convexity still has approximately an 8 boat length lead on Heartbreaker. Following the second race, we have Flash beating Gravitas, tying the series up at 1-1. As we approach the finish of the finals, we have Convexity leading Heartbreaker by approximately 8 boat lengths. And the question is whether or not Convexity has enough time to assess their penalty that they acquired at the start. Doing their penalty turn, and they clearly have time to maneuver and drop the chute before Heartbreaker is able to finish. Flash Gordon actually heading up, trying to draw the penalty. Flash Gordon throwing a flag, saying that they had to avoid contact, that they hardened up on starboard. Judges throwing a flag, indicating that there was a penalty. Penalty on Gravitas. Flash is setting up leeward of Gravitas, pulling up head to wind before the line. Gravitas clearly a boat length and a half behind. Flash slightly early for the start. We got Flash over early. In race 3, we have Convexity with 2 wins over Heartbreaker. It's a must-win situation for Heartbreaker. Convexity sitting, holding them. Heartbreaker needs to accelerate and engage, change the situation so they can get in a leading role. Before the start, we have Heartbreaker in a controlling situation, keeping Convexity on the outside of the starboard ley line. "15 seconds, they both peel down. Clear start for race 3, Convexity, the weather, Heartbreaker, leeward. In a must-win situation for Heartbreaker in race 3, Heartbreaker, after the start, is immediately pulling into attacking duel. Convexity, able to slowly tack and extend each tack. Heartbreaker, trying to engage Convexity, tacks back over to starboard. Convexity, with their lead, is able to tack and actually essentially base plant Heartbreaker, leaving them no option besides tacking for clear air. In race 3, Gravitas is leading Flash Gordon by approximately 3.5 boat lengths. However, Gravitas still has a penalty to turn. With Gravitas clearly and Flash Gordon's there, we have them sailing higher and faster. In race 3, tied 1-1, Gravitas takes Flash Gordon above port ley line. In race 3, we have Convexity hiking it hard. Heartbreaker in a must-win situation. In the conclusion of race 3, we have Gravitas leading Flash Gordon around the entire race course. After assessing a penalty in the beginning of the race, Flash Gordon wins. Race 3, Convexity takes win over Heartbreaker. Entering race 4, Gravitas enters from the starboard side, Flash from the port. Flash is able to escape early, get underneath and establish controlling position under Gravitas. Flash is demonstrating better boat control, able to hold themselves in a stop position. Gravitas is forced to trim in and sail away. 1 minute 45 seconds. Flash peels down to gain speed. Gravitas is tacking away with no wind, no speed. As they peel up, Flash is ahead and to leeward of Gravitas. Gravitas is going to be forced to tack out for clear air. Race 4, we have Flash Gordon clearly ahead, approximately 10 boat lengths ahead. They were able to extend. Smooth turn down. Gravitas preparing around the mark, throwing it into attack. Going immediately with the hoist. Fourth race between Gravitas and Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon, with a substantial lead, is going to win this series 3-1. In our championship round, we have Convexity beating Heartbreaker, and in our pennant final, we have Flash Gordon edging out Gravitas. In conclusion to our Windy City Match Race 2008, we hope to see you out here next year in 2009.